Welcome back to episode 324 of the Bad Taste Video Podcast. This week, we're going to Crystal Lake. We're going to Springwood. We're doing everything because we're covering Freddy vs. Jason. But before that, let's hit that intro. Yes, we're covering Freddy versus Jason. We thought we'd kick off this Halloween season this October with a movie that we always talk up, right? We've never spoken negatively about this one. We just waited to cover. We almost had the Hog on, but he had prior engagements, family things. Yeah, that would have been great because he does, in fact, have a Freddy versus Jason tattoo.
Good for him. Good choice.
Yeah, he may pop up in the chat maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But
dude, I feel like the last few weeks have been ramping up to this. We've been kind of hinting at it a little bit throughout the fucking past few weeks, always mentioning this one. And it only felt right to kick off October with probably like my favorite movie experience as a teenager, like my absolute like biggest memory of being a horror fan at the age of like 15, 16 years old. And this just fucking brings me so back to a time and place, like the music, the fucking movie. And we talked a little bit, man, about amazing fucking title cards. I think this here is the best fucking title card ever, man. It captures both movies so well.
It's
like
an
franchise.
It's like an insanely high quality CGI title card. Something that you don't really see too often anymore. The art of the title card has gone. Days of the awesome, score, intro, theme song specifically made for that movie or whatever, and like a cool fucking opening sequence. It just doesn't really happen like that anymore. I don't know, but this movie does kick off with a bang. You knew right away when you saw that title card, you were like, "Holy shit, it's finally happening!"
Dude, and being back in the theater and how loud everything is, man, and just like that kicking off and hearing that fucking song, just like, man, I was so fucking locked into this the first time I saw this.
For sure.
But looking into some research on this, obviously. Like mentioned by with my friend's podcast in the chat here, that this is a Ronnie Yu movie. If you're not familiar, he was a foreign film director for a while. Took his first stab at an American horror movie with Bride of Chucky. Which, if you're a fan of fucking Freddy versus Jason, you have to be a fan of Bride of Chucky from '98. It is just equally as fucking awesome as this movie. Same vibe, same
for sure.
Really tapping into culture of the time and shit like that, man. I love Bride of Chucky just as much. But man, like there's something about this dude, he fucking gets it. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, I have to explain this. Okay. So like so many like remakes are just not that this is a remake. I figure this is kind of like in between a remake and
it's a reboot. It's a reboot.
Reboot, yeah. But so many of them are just so off the mark, man. Like the Nightmare reboot was a horrible story, a twisted, perverted version of what Freddy was. It didn't feel like it was made by someone who ever really loved Nightmare on Elm Street. And there's been a lot of like the later, Friday the 13th movies and stuff like that kind of you could say the same thing about. This kind of feels like Ronnie Yu absolutely fucking understands what each franchise is amazing for, and like making this movie highlight all of those things. The scenes
for sure.
where they're battling, you get both the best of both worlds. You get the boilers, you get the fucking campgrounds. It just like it really fucking gets what's amazing about Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees.
I agree 100%. It doesn't feel like it's phoned in. You know what I mean? I feel like he understood that people have been waiting for this movie for years. Like literally,
that's it.
Literally 15 years people were waiting. Well, even longer than that, because originally they wanted to do it, I think during part 7 of Friday the 13th. That was like the first time around, I believe. And at that point, the Friday series was waning. And Nightmare on Elm Street was still, bringing in cash. So they're like, why the fuck would we work with you? You know what I mean? But I remember,
at this point, the franchises were both pretty much dead, right? I mean, not dead, but like...
They were in hibernation. None of them really had anything going on. Jason X, is the last Friday the 13th movie. And New Nightmare was the last Freddy movie. They weren't really doing much. The audience was there. You know what I mean? I feel like people were waiting for it. People were talking about it. One thing I want to do mention before we get into this anymore, we're dealing with a rather new movie. So when we're doing this live on our YouTube page, if it does give us a copyright strike or something like that, unfortunately, we're going to have to cut the stream, but we will record a podcast episode, a normal episode for this. So you will be able to hear it on Thursday. But we just want to preface this with that. Just a heads up. All right.
I mean, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, we should be good.
Blade scared us a little bit. Blade put the fear of God in us a little bit.
Yeah,
but
exactly, a little bit.
We'll see that. But
we got it.
This is a movie that I remember speaking about when I was in elementary school. Yo, this is happening. It's happening. I heard it's happening. Of course, you always heard it from somebody that like on the fucking playground, during recess or something. Because growing up, I did have a handful of friends when we were really young, and we all used to watch horror movies. Like, when I say really young, I'm talking elementary school young. We were watching Nightmare on Elm Street movies. We were watching Friday the 13th movies. And this was something that was always like rumored to happen. I believe there were articles in Fangoria or something like that pertaining to it at points that, there's talks going on and, there's a deal in the works. And of course, it took years. I believe it took New Line Cinema actually acquiring the Friday the 13th franchise for this to come out, right? Yeah. That was like part of
that was the actual deal. I think that finally made it happen. It's always about like owning the rights, where the money's going to end up.
Yeah.
Especially something of this magnitude.
And it's like it's a real tightrope that you have to walk because like you don't want one to look bad because then you end up destroying one of the franchises and you make a whole group of people really upset. You don't really want to do that when it comes to these like niche audiences, or at least the people that are going to be spending money, which basically spending money on a dead franchise. Like you don't want to piss those people off because that's still your money maker. That's your
fan base still,
Exactly.
And dude, really, that's another way that Ronnie Yu really juggles this fucking movie in such a delicate way that it doesn't matter which side you're on here. If you're a Freddy fan, if you're a Jason fan, like it delivers for both camps. It doesn't fucking give you an outright, Freddy Krueger's the winner, Jason Voorhees is the winner. It doesn't give you like one way where like one is better than the other. It just really showcases like what potential mayhem could happen if these two like behemoths were to fucking collide in a real world scenario. And it's so fun, man. And another thing that's really good about it is how this story came together. Whoever like wrote this fucking script and it all got like, edited and shit like that. This is so smart. This is the only way this movie would work, is this story of, Freddy Krueger wanting to come back, but nobody's afraid of him anymore. Mm-hmm. He needs people to be afraid to give him power. So he basically searches the bowels of hell to find this creature, Jason Voorhees, that he can bring back just to basically start killing kids and putting the fear out there that it possibly could be Freddy Krueger.
Yes.
Dude, genius. Fucking so smart to do it that way.
Yeah, and like it's a real cool setup. There's like an opening narration by Freddy Krueger. That's how like this, and it's basically like a small backstory or like a really quick backstory of his. You also kind of get like a really abbreviated backstory, sort of, not really, of Jason. Right,
this
like
is a much longer backstory if you're looking at the whole franchise.
yeah. But they do pretty much tell you the whole Freddy Krueger story. But they don't tell you the whole Jason Voorhees story. You only get like a little snippet, but you do get like a cool Jason dimension, right? Like, which is like a real, I don't know. It's like a trippy. What would you even call that, dude? It was like underwater.
It was definitely aqua hell. Like it was definitely like an interesting scene, CGI or whatever. But that's another thing that like it doesn't. This movie has a lot of CGI in it and shit like that, but it also has some really great practical effects. And what it has going for it, which I think probably could never be done again, is it has Robert Englund behind the gun of Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
I don't think the character works in anybody else's hands
without him. Let's we have a little clip from the beginning. And you can kind of see like how they seamlessly go back and forth between CGI and like real shit, right? Like they do a really good job with that in this movie.
But I found some.
Nice Freddy close up.
Make them remember.
Of course, you get the shot of the Jason mask.
I love the Jason sound coming in.
I like how, they have like a close up that goes into like Jason's brain pretty much. And you see what the hell he's fucking doing while he's wasting away in the Crystal Lake forest, Hell Forest. Yeah. One thing that I do wish they would have done in this opening scene is when Freddy's saying like how he had to like search the bowels of hell and all that shit. Like, I wish they would have had something where he was like in Haddonfield or something, and you see like a Michael Myers-esque figure somewhere, and like, and then
he opens a door in hell, and there's like a bunch of Cenobites like fucking torturing a soul or something.
That would be so sick. I wish they did something like that.
That would have fucking cool.
I would have flipped my fucking lid on that. But it's a really cool setup. It's a really good idea where they're kind of working together for the first half or so of the movie. It gives it almost like you're not completely fucking just pissed off by one guy being the good guy, one guy being the bad guy, one guy getting fucked up, one guy fucking, whatever. They really do it good. Like they kind of just hold your hand and lead you into it before they start making you pick a side,
Yeah, what they do really well is they started out and it's once again goes back to how well it's written, is that they give each character a chance to have a taste of like what their movies were like.
Yes.
Each of them has a little bit of a buildup. There's a few great, Jason kills that we're going to see here that then lead into like a couple really unique Freddy Krueger scenes that would be typical of his movies, So you do have this back and forth that kind of like feeds both fan bases, and that's what I think is just done so well, that like they have this dance back and forth in the beginning, which then leads to this ultimate clash at the end. Like it's just it's a great balance.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think about the makeup for both of them? Like the actual costume design and everything. Do you think they did a good job, or how do you feel?
This is one of I'm not a fucking Jason Voorhees fan, man. I know like which movie he got certain masks and shit like that, but like to me, this is probably one of the best looking Jason Voorhees that they've ever done on camera. I think he's so fucking menacing and just true to form. Like, I don't think he looks like, there's some of them that just look kind of like a chubby guy in a suit and shit. Like, Sorry, Kane, I think that's you, but like, fucking, like, this is like really just a true fucking menacing person.
Derek Mears, right? I originally was not really a fan, and I feel like it grew on me over the years. You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
interesting
and
because you are a Friday the 13th fan.
yeah,
So,
I'm a
what
huge
didn't you like
fan.
about it?
Just like I felt like his head looked kind of weird with like the black skin and everything. But I kind of like rationalized it that like he was growing over the years. You know what I mean? Like he kept getting bigger, which also like he was getting more decomposed. That's how I rationalize it to myself now.
He's been
But
burned a few times too. So
yeah,
like,
I think also like I wasn't like 100% with like the clothes he was wearing. It wasn't very Jason-esque. You know what I mean? Usually he has some sort of work shirt on.
yeah, I see what you're
With
saying.
this, it kind of looks like he's wearing like a flannel overcoat type, not a coat, but like a flannel shirt with like a t-shirt underneath.
I don't know, man. I just yeah, like it does kind of like very grunge kind of look. He's like a grungy Jason.
Like dude, if
He's
he
like
had
jamming
like,
Pearl Jam or like slashing kids up and shit too.
like if he had the green like work shirt and everything, but it was all fucked up and like destroyed, like I would have thought that was awesome. I would have loved to see what that looked like because the mask is good. I like the mask in this one.
I say keep the mask. Go back to the overalls, man. I loved overalls.
The part 2 overalls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. I love that look.
I was part 2 Jason for Halloween one year. Sackhead
Nice.
Jason. Yeah, had the overalls and everything.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, man. Were you ever Freddy or Jason for Halloween?
I was not actually. I'm trying to think if I was Fred. No, I don't think so, man. I think I wanted to be one year. I tried it, but I couldn't make it happen.
Dude, I would have loved to seen like you with the fucking rat tail as like
I did have a rat tail.
like a little,
That's so
like
funny.
a little chubby Freddy Krueger like coming for you. Oh man,
Dude,
that's
at one point I had the mullet with the fucking the sides, the fucking steps, fucking yeah, the
damn.
speed lines, dude. I was fucking.
Were you the only one in your class of 7 that that
I
had
was
that?
the only one that had the fucking. It's because like my older cousin raced like fucking. He raced for Fox, motorbikes
like-
and shit like that. He had the fucking. I was like, that's the fucking
He's like
guy.
an OG bro, right? Like
Yeah,
that was
dude.
OG bro culture to have the fucking speed lines there.
So that's it right there.
But Freddy versus Jason, there's like another kind of side story in this where you have people that were involved with a previous Freddy Krueger interaction or killing spree who, to like suppress Freddy, as we said before, were sent to like a mental asylum, right? To like make sure that like they don't mention him to anybody. They start giving him Hypnosil so they don't dream. They basically like lock him up, throw away the key, and say like, nope, this is the only way that we're able to keep this shit at bay. And I
Yeah,
thought
because
that was
they know, like
awesome.
they have like figured it out that if there's no fear of Freddy, then there is no Freddy.
Yeah.
It is like so if they don't, these kids can't spread this fear and they keep them fucking sedated, basically, then all is well in the fucking neighborhood. Man.
Yeah.
But now when
Something
Jason's on the loose,
I just thought of that I really liked about this movie is that all the movies before are canon. They
Before
show
this?
clips. Yeah, they show the clips in the beginning of the film
they do. Yeah.
from like previous movies and stuff. And I don't know why that just popped in my head, but like I really like that fact that like maybe these people were part of something that happened,
Previously.
Yeah, in one of these other movies, like they were affected in some sort of way.
Well, I guess that goes back to like kind of what I was saying, where man, like this just feels like the two franchises were growing and growing and growing and growing, and they just finally met in like the ultimate battle. It doesn't feel like a forced movie where like, oh, we have this Freddy Krueger character, we have this fucking Jason Voorhees character. How can we like make a movie happy with them? Like, this feels like how these two fucking characters would meet based on all the movies that we've previously seen, minus like Wes Craven's New Nightmare and shit. Obviously, that's all meta and fucking shit. But like taking that one out of the equation, like this feels like where it would leave off after like Freddy's dead in like the last Friday the 13th.
Yeah. You think this
This is
takes
it.
place on Earth 2 from
Earth
Jason X?
Oh no, absolutely not. I had
No?
to fucking even think what the hell you were talking about. Yeah, I didn't have anything with space in the title for me.
So when Jason first like starts coming into Springwood, he starts killing teenagers, and you get a feel of how brutal this movie is actually going to be with one of the first kills, and it's very Jason-esque, right? And that's when the dude gets fucking stabbed with the machete multiple times and then folded in half into the bed.
This is my all-time favorite Jason Voorhees kill of any of the fucking movies previous to this, leading up to this. This is, in my opinion, the best Jason kill of all time.
So he's just, you see the machete going through the bed. He's getting stabbed in the back multiple times. Brutal. He's still alive. Yep, still alive.
Boom!
Oh my God. And Jason takes the bed and basically folds him in half backwards. Classic Jason Voorhees move. Right?
Dude, okay. Imagine walking in on that. Not like that actually like in the process of happening, but like the aftermath, finding someone in that position would be terrifying.
Like they're still like still
Because it's like,
alive.
how the fuck does something like this happen,
happened?
dude? Like the force to make that happen would scare the fuck out of me.
Well, it's like a very Nightmare on Elm Street-esque thing, where it's like, how did this ridiculous thing happen? Like while I was just in the other room, how did this person like get like whatever?
Bed? Oh fuck! Dude, I didn't even put that together. That like they just fucked. He's drinking. They're gonna assume he just fell asleep on this fucking bed.
Mm-hmm.
He gets folded in half.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Bingo.
Yep, that's why they originally think it's Freddy, right? Because not only is there already like a history in the town, but the guy's found dead in the bed, like fucked up beyond belief, like in a way that a normal person wouldn't be able to do.
So weird for that chick. She just like goes in the shower and then comes out and finds her dude like mangled, car crash,
looking like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right?
Yeah, dude.
Damn,
moldy bread, dude. Fuck, that is bad.
This movie is insanely gory too, right? I think that's another thing that people were pretty happy with. That like there was a ton of blood in this film.
It had to be. You couldn't, and that's another part that makes it so holds up to the franchise, man. Like on both of them, is that like these movies are known for brutal fucking kills, interesting, unique kills. Both of these franchises are known for not holding back, for like really taking interesting approaches and showing interesting kills that are typically bloody. I mean, in like the first Nightmares and shit, there was like gallons of fucking blood, dumped into a room. Like that's what this is fucking known for. And I don't think it would have done it justice to come in here looking for a fucking soft rating or anything like that. Like this comes in balls the fucking wall. Everything you want. You want a fucking decapitation? We're gonna show you a decapitation in the first 15 minutes of this fucking movie.
Yeah,
and that's where I'm just like, we're in. This is fucking it.
One of the dudes, this guy was in the house, right?
Yeah. This is the mangled dude's like best friend, basically.
Yeah, and he's like all distraught, obviously, as one would be.
His dad's like, get the fuck together, and he's like, I'm fucking freaking out, man.
So his dad ends up outside, and he's like on the fucking like on the porch, like sitting on the bench, and he comes outside and he's like, Dad. Like he gets all like real emotional with him, and his dad's just like staring off into oblivion, and he realizes that his father has been decapitated, and it's really fucking funny because he ends up getting slashed also, but the amount of blood that they throw onto the fucking side of the house, we have that clip here. I really do enjoy this. This is a very like 80s slasher type thing to do.
Dad.
His head just pops off. Blood squirting everywhere. Jason appears behind him picks up the machete and slashes him, I guess so hard that it looks like he takes a whole gallon of red paint and throws it against the side of the fucking house on the windows.
He's holding the head.
Yeah. Like it's gonna protect him. So now when like the fucking coroner comes, there's gonna be like a head severed in half, and this dude also like halfway cut. Yeah. Oh man. One thing I will say is that almost every single kill in this movie is like a horrible way to die. Nobody gets it easy. Right? Like nobody gets it easy. Sometimes like in some of these movies, somebody will just get like their neck instantly broken and they die. Or like, you know, whatever. This, like, everybody gets fucked up.
Well, the one dude does get his fucking neck just broken.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Dies. But it's just one guy, which kind of leads us to this next scene, which I have. So basically, like, you know, there's the group of fucking kids, like you said, that are like, you know, associated with like previous events, and they're freaking the fuck out because they think Freddy's back. They want to fucking go and like get the fucking kid that they know, her old boyfriend, out of the insane asylum and all this fucking shit, right? But anyways, they decide to go to a fucking rave in the middle of the cornfield instead to fucking have a good time. And dude, the entire rave scene, that whole thing is just so fucking awesome.
That's definitely like an iconic sequence from this movie, I feel like. And I think that this is one of the best like visual things of Jason that I've ever seen. What a cool fucking look. So Jason is completely engulfed in flames, chasing somebody through a cornfield. But as he's walking through the cornfield, you could see like the path he's taken because it's all on fire behind him.
So good.
Yeah,
simple but awesome idea.
The kid.
This guy comes running into the party.
Yeah, he comes running out of the cornfield back into the party and gets impaled by a flaming machete, a gigantic flaming fucking machete that's on fucking. Oh man,
I love that it's on fire. Yeah, that makes like, dude, the fact that it comes through him and then it's on fire on the other side is so fucking awesome. Great fucking detail, man.
And this is where we also start to see like Freddy getting a little pissed at Jason, right?
Well, he's getting all the credit, dude. Like,
yeah, he's not getting his souls, his fear.
He wants his bloodlust. Yeah, he's got the bloodlust. You know, he wants the fucking the fear, I don't know, the souls, the damnation. I don't know how you do that.
That's kind of funny that like
damnate, is that even a word?
in like previous Nightmare on Elm Street movies, Freddy's all about the souls, right? That's like what he's in this one. He's all about fear. So like, which one is it, bro? You still?
Well, I think once he's like locked in, they got the fear. Like once you got the fear, bro, like then you want the souls. Yeah. It's like money, power, respect. You know, like once you fucking. You get one, you get the fucking other. So it's like once you get the fear, you want the fucking souls, which then gives you the power. Dude. And that's like
he's like turning Super Saiyan now.
Yeah, like this is what he's after. He wants those. Once the fear's there, bro. He's locked in now. He wants the fucking souls. Jason's getting the fucking souls. He's pissed. That's right. You know, I get it. Jason's only there because Freddy brought him there. He has every right to be upset at this point. Dude.
True. Imagine this was like fucking. Never mind. We do start seeing some of like Freddy's dream world though during this like whole rave thing where the girl gets brought into it, right, when she goes into the barn. But unfortunately, he's not powerful enough yet to actually like do any harm to anybody. He's still only able to manipulate. Your surroundings, I guess.
Yeah. He like tries to go for the kill, but it doesn't work out for him.
Nah, Jason doesn't. But I thought that was fucking awesome, right? It's super cool seeing them kind of go back and forth, and it's cool how they do like the dream world / reality intertwining. I feel like they do a really good job of it, right? Like it's pretty seamless.
And what's great is that. In my opinion, as like I'm a bigger, obviously Freddy Krueger fan. I've always have been than Jason. Is that we get the exact same personality, Freddy Krueger, that we left off with in Freddy's Dead, it's not a new ramped up character. It's not
They're
a
like,
different
oh,
take.
super mean and everything. It's like,
No,
nope,
this
still
is
making
the
fun
same
of people.
smart
and-
ass fucking just schmarmy fucking asshole Freddy Krueger that I've just loved so much, dude. And like that's on perfect display kind of here where, like you said, there's this tension building and we kind of get one of our first battle sequences a little bit between the two in the boiler room here. And dude, I first time seeing Voorhees in the fucking boiler room blew my fucking mind as knowing these franchises growing up, being such a big fan, and then like finally getting to like, oh shit, this was such a huge
It's
pop for
happening.
me.
It's
Yeah,
happening.
like this is it.
I like how the lighting is all red too.
My nightmare.
Right? There it is. And like Freddy has all his powers, obviously. It's the dream world. Right?
The boiler's so hits him with his own machete.
Yeah. That's cool. He's pounding it in with like the steel plates.
Penny for your thoughts, Chief.
Just a great line, dude. Only Robert Englund could deliver the fucking lines like Freddy like that, man. It's just perfect.
Jason takes so much fucking damage in this movie, dude. Like just constantly gushing blood from wounds from the glove, from people doing things to him, from his own machete.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, man. I like how
It's-
they just have him keep coming though, like a fucking machine, like he never stops.
Yeah, and I think that's also kind of true to form. Like that's exactly how, like Voorhees has always been. That's Jason, man. Like he's the unstoppable machine that like, even no matter what you think you do to him, it's never enough. Like if you think you've killed him, you definitely haven't killed him. He could be in separate fucking pieces, and his heart will fucking possess somebody else and turn them into fucking Jason Voorhees. It's unstoppable.
Oh wait, Ken Kissinger was fucking Jason in this movie. I don't know why I said Derek Mears before. I'm looking at the IMDb right now because I'm looking for the dude's name. Where is it? Mark, the redheaded dude, and his brother. Where like the brother kills himself, apparently, right? Like, and he's like,
that dude. He's in like a bunch of fucking movies at that time period, man. I remember him from like other shit too. I can't remember now, but like he's like
Brendan Fletcher is his name.
Yeah.
And being in weird movies is his game.
Fletcher. Yeah, I bet it is, dude. But fucking yeah, he's like the brother of like one of the dudes in the asylum. Or no, he's like the brother of one of the guys that killed himself. He was in the asylum, right? With the fucking with the other guy. And he's free now. He's back home. They escaped. And he starts having bad dreams, man. And this is like what I was saying, how like we get a little bit of that like traditional Freddy Krueger scene. And I think this was like the perfect display. Like before we get to this point, he like sees his dead brother in the bathtub with his like wrist split wide open, and he's like talking to like a
Did
bunch
you
of
forget
shit
me?
to him and
Yeah,
stuff.
you forgot
Yeah,
all that shit.
so good.
Ken did stunts. Dead with My Friends podcast. Ken did stunts in part 8. He was the dude in the cafe gets thrown into the mirror in the city. Yeah, behind the counter. He plays like a waiter / cook, and he ends up getting thrown. Somebody's quick. Can we use your phone? Blah, blah, so you need to help us. Somebody's trying to kill us. Welcome to New York. That was
Fucking
Ken
tosses
Kissinger.
ass.
Years later, he ends up playing Jason, and he replaces Kane Hodder, who I believe they did not have him back because he was not tall enough. They wanted Jason to tower over Freddy.
Yeah. I always thought that about, no offense, Kane Hodder, dude. I always thought Kane Hodder was too short and just kind of like too chubby for the role. That'd be like putting me in the role of Jason. I'm not intimidating. Like, I'm not going to be like menacing. Like any normal dude would be like, okay, this is a fair fight. Let's fucking go. Like, I think Jason should be that like fucking unstoppable fucking force that he's known to be, and that comes with being like a monster.
Yeah. Let's play that clip though of Mark finally seeing Freddy getting his groove back. He's able to fucking actually do things to people. Throws them across the room, slashing them, lights them on fucking fire, which is pretty fucking horrendous. Imagine seeing your friend like in the window, like help me. Then he comes back up and his face gets slashed.
This is
That's painful as fuck. That's mean spirited, yeah. Dragged, thrown into the wall again. And Freddy
That's a little
burned.
message on his back.
Yeah, Freddy burned Freddy's back. Does that beat "Come and Get Me"? Come and Get Him, bitch, or whatever from part 3?
No, that's definitely better.
That. Yeah, that's the fucking shit.
That's the best.
But
Speaking of getting the groove back, dude.
oh yeah,
Like, what do you? This obviously we've been like fucking not. We've been missing this the whole time. But the fucking music and the soundtrack to this movie is bar none such a time and place of 2003. It like led me down this rabbit hole of like listening to other bands that I haven't listened to in like fucking forever. I was listening to Unearthed for like the first time in like
Unearthed. What is it? The Oncoming Storm. That album's fucking awesome.
yeah,
That's a ripper.
That's
dude.
exactly the one I was dude. So fucking good.
One thing that I did not remember is Devil Driver having such ridiculous vocals from what's his name, Dez or whatever.
Dez from fucking Cold Chamber, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I did not.
Swinging the damn.
Swinging the dirt.
This
Go
is,
for it.
dude. People loved this shit back in the early 2000s.
The vocal delivery and like the verses of that song is like what really fucking gets me, dude. It's like a honky tonk metal sounding
Yeah.
fucking thing going on there.
But this was crazy for that time because it was all
Yeah.
contemporary music. It wasn't like they did it years later where it's like now outdated. These were all current bands, current artists. Now, it wasn't always the most popular song that the people had out. But, you know.
Nothing Face Ether was a good one on that. That's a decent song. Like, okay, so at this like in 2005, 6, I was on the radio for my college. I had my own show on Wednesdays, which was called like Hardcore Hump Day. And all we did was I played like straight death metal with like all fucking day with my friends. My girlfriend at the time had a show on Tuesday nights and she was like terrified of talking. So I had to like go on there and do all of like the talking. And all the music she picked out was basically stuff like this. Like Bullet for my Valentine and like, you know, fucking Kill Switch Engage and stuff like that. This fucking band, Il Nino, dude. I heard this fucking song for the first time again, and like I forgot that they had like bongos and shit like that.
It was like world music, right?
Dude, it's so fun. Shit rules.
When I was watching this before, Michelle was singing it. She's a fan. How can
Takes you back, man. Dude, takes you back.
It really was like just a real mix of like early 2000s metal, like fucking Kill Switch Engage, like you wouldn't really expect this in a fucking like major studio film.
No, especially because like, dude, at the time, I had just found Alive or Just Breathing. That basically like what would be their first like full length album and stuff. I was fucking hooked. Fucking My Last Serenade. That I still love that fucking song. And I love that this was like still that time period before, you know, Jesse originally quit the band, before they got like Howard Jones in to fucking sing for them and stuff. I always thought like Kill Switch, although they did end up going like, you know, semi-mainstream or whatever, they were just always a super fun band to go see live. Jesse was a fucking great vocalist to see. So I was always like on like the fucking Kill Switch's side. And then like Howard just kind of ruined it for me. Now it just like it became too soulful of like a fucking sound. Like it went, I think that's where they started really going more mainstream, was like when Howard entered the band. And like, you know, Jesse's back now, which is cool as fuck. But man, early Kill Switch fucking ruled, dude.
They have like a very unique production to their recordings. And like at that time, like the Kill Switch sound was like really fucking like, if you could get that, like you were going to be just fucking fine. right?
I opened for Shadows Fall before, and that's like another band that's like
I did also.
Yeah, Brian was like the fucking nicest guy I've ever fucking met, dude. Like super
Dude, that's
fucking
so
cool.
funny. Yeah, I also I too have opened for Shadows Fall. Yeah, nice guys. I still thought they were a good band. Those dudes are rippers. You know, for the time period, they were. You know,
And what I
it
love
was.
now, dude, is that I see all these bands like putting out like been dormant for years, putting out like new shit now. Like I just saw like Darkest Hour has new material from like the past year or so. I was a
Wow.
huge fucking Darkest Hour fan when they fucking came out. I, you know, it's so funny because I loved all this stuff, but at the same time I had this like other side that was like finding this like other side of metal where I was like getting into like stuff like Cock and Ball Torture and fucking Romp a Promp.
You were starting to listen to like the bands that these guys were inspired by. Like you were
I don't know so much if they were listening to like German porn grind so much. That was kind of
like all the death metal and shit.
Oh, but
like,
the death metal, yeah, they were listening to Enslaved and fucking, the Cannibal Corpse and the stuff that I was like really starting to get into, Dying Fetus and shit.
Well, also like you had In Flames on this soundtrack, and like In Flames is a band that like has been around since the early '90s. You know what I mean? So like they were a Swedish death metal band, and it's on the Freddy versus Jason soundtrack. Like imagine that.
Early Lamb of God, right after they switched from being Burn the Priest to fucking Lamb of God, that first album, Laid to Rest, is it? That the first one? There's a fucking
Black
track
album?
from
Not the Black Album. What was it called? Black Label? No, that's the song.
Yeah, that's a song, but I'm pretty sure like that's Laid to Rest is no, maybe that's not the name of the album. But anyways, but like there's what else is on here? Oh, dude, this band this was a band that I liked so much at the time, but like I would never admit it to any of like my real fucking metalhead friends because I felt like they would have definitely picked on me. Was fucking From Autumn to Ashes. I fucking dug this band so much for some reason.
I went to college with a member of this band. He sat behind me in one of his classes. I had no idea I never really listened to them. I had no idea who he was, but like we just started talking to each other like one day, like you're in school and you become friendly and all that stuff. Yeah. And then like one day he's just like, oh yeah, like you play guitar. I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh yeah, I play. I think he was the bass player or something. And I'm like, oh, like, are you in a band or whatever? He's like, oh yeah, like From Autumn to Ashes. And I was like, oh,
are they a thing?
Now I don't know, like if he was like currently in the band or he was like somebody that was in the band, but I always thought that was really funny because it's like, oh, what a random like person to meet. You know what I mean? Like
only in Long Island, dude.
Yeah. Well, what can you do, man? This is the Long Island sound, man.
All the bands sounded like this out there.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. This was like there was like a very unique time in the Long Island music scene where like everybody was playing like that type of, what would you call that? Like a
oh man,
like a post hardcore type sound, right? Is that like a post?
I guess that's a good way to put it. Yeah, post hardcore. I guess. I mean, it's so weird though because I also listened to like bands like Thursday at this time period and shit like that. I really dug that fucking band. But that's like a totally even not softer, but like, yeah, I guess you could say softer than this. Like that's like a kind of a whiny fucking
different type of music. There's nothing wrong with it, man. You're allowed to like fucking anything you want to like.
I am, dude. It's just so funny, like looking back on it now, like all the different stuff from like that time period that I like really got into, but like where it also kind of like the past it leaves you down to like, and like finding this music now, all these years later, you're like, yeah, I understand why I fucking dug this. Like,
yeah,
there's something about like. There's something about some of this new metal that I'm just like, yeah. Dude,
there's a reason why these
get it.
Yeah, there's a reason why these bands went platinum. I guess I get it. I guess
one band I did not understand going platinum, and I thought always was just riding the coattails of his cousin, was fucking Power Man 5000.
Oh my god, they don't even have the good song in this, right?
No, they can't. They're gonna fucking
When
go with
Worlds
Bombshell.
Collide. Wow, what a music video! If you were watching this, you would just. This looks like Despiser, right?
Just sunglasses on.
It looks like the Despiser fucking.
Yeah, it does.
Set or whatever the hell you want to call it. That's really interesting.
Dude,
Spider Zombie, baby. Hey, come on the podcast, man.
Yeah, come on the podcast.
Grizz, let's talk about the final battle in Freddy versus Jason. Now, it's not something that takes 5 minutes. This is literally like 25, 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
It is, I would say, cathartic in a way. You get to see a little bit of everything. Freddy does, in fact, get brought into the real world. I do not like the fact he still has semi-supernatural powers. That does bother me a little bit.
No, I guess I overlook it a little bit. I look that he is like, he's not impervious to pain though. He's not like, invisible or invincible, or whatever. Like he can like, he take fucking shots. So like he does have a little bit of like his Freddy Krueger abilities, but it's not like he's totally dream world manipulating things here at this point, man. Like and I like that because it shows that this is like a true fight, one-on-one. And even like the way I named these fucking scenes was like I named them as if they were like different fight scenes from like a game or like like a fucking like a match that you would go see, like a boxing event or something, dude.
The first one we're gonna do is Cabin Beatdown.
Yeah, dude,
this is when Freddy is finally brought into the real world, and he is surprised by the company that he currently has in the room. Him and Jason finally fight, and Jason
the balls.
Beats the fuck out of him. Jason grabs him at one point, throws him through the window, but instead of completely through, he holds him and runs down the window. That's the supports being broken by Freddy's fucking...
He ragdolls his ass out the fucking porch, dude, into the fucking house across the way, dude.
Yeah, Jason literally tosses him like a sack of shit across like the fucking yard onto the roof of like a shed. Absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. What a start. Silhouetted Animator says, I think a sequel was planned with Pinhead. That would have been interesting. I wonder how that would have worked. Right?
I know there was always talk because there was a fucking comic book made of Ash Williams being involved as well at some point, some kind of like him involved in this kind of like three-way tango kind of fight. I don't know who would be a good third.
I think the best thing for this would be since Robert Englund can't do it anymore.
True.
Cut out Freddy. Freddy's gone.
Yep.
Jason, you could have
can live on forever.
Exactly. I would say him. Unfortunately, also Bruce Campbell is no longer doing that shit. But I would think a Jason versus Ash would be a good one where he helps people at Crystal Lake. You know what I mean? And like Jason, there's like Necronomicon shit involved and Deadite stuff involved also.
I feel like for the right project with like that, I feel like Bruce would come back, dude. Like
he's too old, man. Unless that's like part of the thing.
I don't think he is though. Like he's in great shape. I think he could fucking pull it, dude.
I guess
he did a great job in Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Well, I guess you could also do it where he is like an older dude, where like he can't do shit really.
He's
like
using his knowledge to fucking But then that's not really what I want to see, I want to see the Ash Williams fucking locked and loaded, shoddy with the fucking chainsaw, doing battle with Jason Voorhees. That's what you're signing up for with a name like that. So I think that's the problem, is that this movie hits at the perfect time where you were able to capture both of these franchises perfectly and retain Robert Englund to have the spirit of Freddy Krueger remain true. The only other character that's iconic like this that I think you could do it with, because he is similar to Jason Voorhees, is a Michael Myers. Because you could put anybody behind the Michael Myers mask and it's still Michael Myers.
How do you like make that interesting though? You would need the supporting.
That's the problem.
I wish they would do like a Deadpool versus Jason.
Okay, I could see something that would be an interesting, like a crossover, something that's like completely from left field.
Yeah, like where you have two people that like regenerate horror comedy-ish. That'd be pretty awesome.
You know, I immediately write off Chucky. He's not even
Too
a
small.
player.
He would get fucking kicked across the,
He's
the camp.
powerful enough against humans. He's not standing a fucking chance in this battle though. Like it's just not. It's not realistic.
I would like maybe like an Army of Darkness type thing with.
Okay.
Maybe,
Evil Ash, and that's interesting because you could put fucking Bruce behind the makeup, and him not have to do anything but be on the fucking horse, directing Deadites, and I'm fucking already sold on that idea.
Yep,
like,
and then
I'm fucking in.
You have Jason come back also. He's brought back also when they get brought back.
Yeah. Oh, incantation, you beautiful son of a bitch. Chucky versus Leprechaun.
Yo, damn.
That is a fucking fantastic.
That's a moneymaker right there. One thing I will say though, now that we're starting to create new horror icons, you'll be able to do like an Art the Clown versus somebody.
Yeah. See, what would have been? I would have loved to have had like an Art the Clown versus a fucking Captain Spaulding. Something like that.
Dude, Art the Clown would just fucking destroy him. Actually, Art the Clown versus Freddy would be good. Because like very similar, like where it's like a funny type like character. Or do you need or do you need like the straight dude with like the funny guy? You know what I mean? Does it work when everybody is like
it's too funny? It becomes more campy, I think, at that point. It becomes more of a joke than it does become.
By the end of this episode, let's think of one solid one each of like a good legit like horror movie that would make like a good horror movie. All right? That's
all right.
You got to do it. So now they're beating the fuck out of each other. There's a cool scene where Freddy drops a whole bunch of rebar on Jason. And then he starts like, what is that? Like a cement, like some sort of cement device that starts swinging.
This is what I love about this is that this seems dream world-ish without being in the dream world. It feels like something Freddy would do in the boiler room, just put into a construction site. And I fucking love that aspect of it.
Hey, asshole!
Perfect.
Up here!
Imagine having the rebar dropped on you like that. Oh.
Pins his ass down.
Yeah, pins Jason to the ground. Jason is constantly bleeding in this movie. This looks like a giant metal swinging funnel of some sort. And it's just beating the fuck out of Jason. You just see him like just getting hit over and over again. But it's funny because like it never really does hurt him. It never does truly hurt him. All right, let's see here. Art the Clown versus Pennywise. I feel like Pennywise too overpowered. He's like fourth dimensional, and that really can't work. If Stephen King allowed it. Candyman versus Pinhead. Dead with My Friends podcast. Can you give me a synopsis of that? How would that work?
Interesting.
Hunger Games, but with horror icons. Survival of the fittest. There was a movie years ago. I think it might have been is it the 80s or the 90s? Was it called Arena? Where they had
Was that
the
Arena,
90s?
Just Arena something?
Yeah, where like the monsters fucking fought each other, right?
Yeah.
That's something. But Dead with My Friends podcast. Come on, baby. Give us a synopsis.
We've left out a major player here, dude. What about Leatherface? I mean, I think he is easily put into one of these scenarios and works just as well as somebody like fucking Candyman or somebody like that.
See now, can you do Leatherface do the face turn? Or he's the good guy?
Oh.
Because you do need somebody to be like kind of the anti-hero. You know?
See now, Leatherface from fucking TCM2, you could do a fucking face turn with a character like that, man. Like,
true, but from part one?
No, too butchery, too fucking maniac at part one.
So you would have to do Jason versus Leatherface versus Ash.
Yeah,
right?
Ash.
And like he's helping the kids. Older dude now on vacation somewhere. Yeah, I don't know. There's got to be a better one. There's got to be a better one out there. We got to still rack our brains. Unfortunately, we do see Kelly Rowland get killed in this from Destiny's Child. Really wild thinking about that. Like, she was in this movie, did a great job, right? I think the character was really awesome, but she gets fucked up also. Jason literally slashes her, but also like hits her like she's a baseball. It slams her against the tree.
You got these teensy weensy little things, and Jason has got this big old thing like.
This definition to fuck around and find out right here.
I like Freddy like motioning like look behind you. She just gets fucking whacked against that tree.
He's like, oh
shit. Yeah, even he's like, that's fucking.
All right, we got
brutal.
the synopsis in, and I gotta tell you, I actually like this one.
All right. Dead with My Friends podcast says a group of college students accidentally summon both Candyman and Pinhead while experimenting with urban legends and the Lament configuration puzzle box. I like that because it also lends itself to more options, man. You could have almost like this meta fucking movie that's set in the real world that these horror movies exist, and it's people fucking joking on them and shit like that, and like doing like, you know, some kind of, like you said, social experiment or some shit, and like actually finding out. See, oh man, that's tough because it didn't work that well in fucking Wes Craven's New Nightmare. But that was different. I do kind of like that. The only thing I have with Pinhead and the Cenobites is I feel like they're so overpowered. Like they could just they could fucking tear anybody apart. They're literally working for like a cosmic being, Leviathan, right? Like he's a god. Yeah. I know Candyman is also supernatural, but I feel like they would have a pretty easy time dispatching of him, right? Like, how does he fuck with the Cenobites? Like, it's pretty hard to fuck with them, right? Like, really only other Cenobites can, like, kill them, right?
You know, there's another crossover that happened that I think is almost as good as Freddy versus Jason, and it's the fucking Alien versus Predator crossover.
True.
I think that those original like two films are fucking solid, man.
I like the second one, Requiem. That one was fucking sick. People hated on that shit. I like that. I like
the first two a lot.
Remember the video game, the arcade game?
Oh my god, dude! Those games used to scare the horror games used to scare the fuck out of me.
Okay, silhouetted animator. Now you got me, dude. John Constantine stuff. That would be good. You have Constantine against like a Pinhead or Candyman. Constantine and Candyman would be really good.
Okay.
That would be like an evenly matched thing, I feel like, where like he knows about the dark side, the magic stuff. I think that would be fucking good. Yes, The Grudge versus The Ring does exist. Remember those? They had a fucking weigh in on those, I think also. Yeah, Blob versus the Raft. So this fight between Freddy and Jason keeps fucking getting crazier and crazier, and at one point Freddy fucking just sticks the fucking claws in Jason's eyes, right? And
oh fuck,
because we've learned that Jason is a juicy boy in this,
dude. I think this is like what every Freddy fan always envisioned. Of like, oh, if they fought, fucking Freddy would fucking bowling ball that motherfucker right in his face with the fuck. So this goes back to being like fucking they got it. They understood what they were fucking making and who they were making this for.
One. Yeah, Freddy plunging the fucking the claw into his eyes, and you just see blood shooting everywhere, shaking about. And he also plunges the claw into his chest. But this is when our main protagonist blows them both the fuck up.
Go to hell!
She gets like multiple chances to have like a quip, like an action movie line. I also like that Jason just keeps like punching through Freddy, like he keeps fucking putting his hand through him. But eventually they get blown up, thrown in the water. Freddy comes back out, but Jason also does, and he impales Freddy with his own glove.
Own arm.
With the
Yeah,
arm.
his own
Yeah.
arm, dude. It's so
And
fucking good.
she decapitates him. But that is not the end. They had to add a little extra, right?
Yes. This is the perfect ending. This is how you needed to end this movie.
Jason emerges from the lake the next morning, holding Freddy's severed head. But
Do you think Jason wins?
Freddy's head looks at the camera and winks, and we get a
You hear
nice
that
Freddy
laugh,
laugh
dude?
with the theme. One thing I will say, dude, I think Jason did win, because Freddy is not in the dream world. He's just a head. He's gonna turn into fucking Pamela Voorhees, the head on the table, and that's it. He doesn't really have like the same powers. It seems like he has some, but he doesn't have the same
It's
ability.
so open-ended, though, the way they the wink and stuff. Oh, man.
Well, now let's be realistic here, dude. They never made a part 2 or anything like that. So, Freddy
Guess at
lost,
that
bro.
point, Freddy lost. I guess if you want to look at it that way.
It has to be that way.
So, here's a fucking one more matchup that I got to
Okay.
get your opinion on.
Okay.
Who wins in this scenario? The fucking the critters or the ghoulies? If they clash in fucking worlds, man.
I mean, probably really if they like clashed the critters, because the Krites.
They're more powerful.
Well, they have technology. Remember, dude,
That's
that
what
they're
I'm
flying
saying.
spaceships. They're fucking experimenting. They're doing all sorts of shit.
Okay, so
Oh wait, no, they're
Gremlins,
not.
ghoulies.
Wait, no, they're not. The Krite was fucking. No, wait. I'm thinking. Yeah, the Krites have spaceships. They talk to each other. The Ghoulies. I don't think are gonna be able to do that. Even though I love
Ghoulies,
them.
Gremlin. That's more of a better
Ghoulies,
fight, I think.
brutal. The Ghoulies would, because then they have that big
Really?
Ghoulie, the King Ghoulie, that like eats the other Ghoulies. You know.
But I feel like a gremlin is the endless possibilities of transformation there as well. So I feel
true.
like there could be a
Their
king
strength
shit
in
gremlin
numbers.
you could be fucking with.
Gremlins
Versus munchies.
critters,
You could throw munchies in there too. True. Very
versus
good
the
call.
Garbage Pail Kids also, maybe throw
Oh
them in.
god, the garbage pail kids.
There we go. But Freddy versus Jason, probably the best crossover film of all time.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Dude.
Of all
I don't
time.
think there's one better. Yeah.
Better than Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein.
Yeah. Dude, for sure.
Better than anything you could ever think of. Freddy versus Jason, A+. Also, because it's like a newer movie, like watching it on like HBO Max or whatever on like a huge TV, looks awesome.
Rules.
Still,
Yeah.
to this day, like,
Soundbar fucking bumping, dude. Fucking
fuck yeah.
awesome.
There's a book called Slash of the Titans that goes in depth about the troubled production of this movie and the rejected screenplays. Yeah, one thing I
Oh,
will
shit.
say is I miss, like, I feel like it's a missed opportunity, all like the Freddy and Jason movies that never were. Like the ones with like a weak ass Freddy being fucking clowned by kids, like, and all that shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm bummed that none of that stuff. Maybe one day it will, because they have to just keep using these franchises, and
Jesus
why
Christ.
pay somebody for something that they already have in the
Already
vault?
exist. Yeah.
Yeah, but Freddy versus Jason was really just a really good job at crossing the two franchises over, making both fan bases feel fulfilled, like nobody
Absolutely.
lost. You got your money's worth. The soundtrack was fucking awesome. Tons of blood, tons of gore. There's nudity in this also, as most of these movies have. The versions that you'll see on like AMC and all that stuff doesn't do the movie justice. They cut a lot of like the real like graphic stuff out, or they shorten it immensely. This one, I think it holds up, man. It holds up. This is a fucking strong movie. Now, do I consider this part of like, when people ask me what are my favorite Friday the 13th movies, I feel like you can't, or like Nightmare on Elm Street, I feel like you can't say this one. I feel like this is a separate entity that kind of lives in its own platform, its own, like, it's different than both franchises in ways. I don't know. I feel like you can't like put that in when somebody asks you, like you can't say like, oh, I
It
like
sucks. It would
Friday
be my
3.
go-to every time for sure. just because
Yeah,
of the
like-
history I have with this movie. So,
It's also because both of them are in it, so it's not really fair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I legitimately own the same exact DVD copy that I bought in 2004 when it was fucking
hell
released. Interesting enough, too, this is, I think, if one of the last, if not the last horror movie that was released on VHS tape was
Really?
Freddy. Yeah, 2004. This has a VHS release
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, I didn't
in
know
the
that that's the
USA
last.
and different foreign releases as well.
Damn, look at that, man. Now that's we know people are gonna say like, oh no, like people still put up it. It's like, yes, this is like a mainstream
Yeah,
release, like a mass
assholes
release.
that still put out. Fuck. I mean, what do you want from me here? Jesus Christ.
Silhouetted animator, yes, there is a ton of untapped story potential with these franchises still. I agree. Time to update them. Time to upgrade them. And let's see them. But Grizz, I think that's a solid start to our October.
Yes.
A classic movie that you'll see on every Halloween marathon on basic cable. Freddy versus Jason will forever be a classic. Just the new metalness, the just everything about it, man. Seeing
If
this
you're a
shit in
horror
theaters-
fan that's in like his mid-30s, this movie will take you back. This movie is a fucking time and place for us, man.
Yep. And I think this was just a great way to start our October. But the Halloween season will roll on. We're going to have Brian Paulin of At Dawn They Sleep and, fucking Cryptic Plasm fame. That's going to
Covering
be...
Fetus.
Yep,
That's
we're going to be
gonna
covering
fucking
Fetus.
Awesome, man.
Chris, what's the date on that one? Is that the 22nd?
22nd, Tuesday the 22nd at 9 o'clock. Make sure you are here. Also, you can check our YouTube page throughout the week, and you will be able to find updates on what we will be covering that coming week. So if you're interested in getting a little bit of a sneak peek on what is to come, make sure you are checking out our YouTube page, not only to see what's coming up, but go and check out some of our other stuff that we've done. We've put up little cool short videos that Mike works his ass off to make,
Once in a while.
plus our entire fucking back catalog. He works his ass off. Plus our entire back catalog of of live content that you can check out as well.
Yep. And we release all of these via podcast, wherever podcasts are found, every Thursday. But if you want to see it live and you want to see it exactly when we're recording it, that's going to be Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@badtastevideopodcast. You can also see everything else we do at www.badtastevideo.com. We have a Patreon if you want to donate to us, more so just to keep the lights on at this point. There are some things up there that you can't find out on the interwebs, which are pretty interesting. But Grizz, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram at Kane_enabler.
And you can find me at Bad Taste Video. And Grizz, is there anything else that you want to mention before we head out of here?
Why am I forgetting something?
No, I don't know. I'm just asking.
All right, well, cheers. I'm out. I'm
See
good.
you guys next week.